Welcome to Kosher Kare, a caregiver's guide to making moments matter, meeting the needs of Jewish families. Have you ever cared for someone of a different culture or religion and were at a loss to help the person because you were unsure what to say or do regarding a holiday, a ritual, a way of eating, a milestone event in the family? Whether you're a new caregiver or an experienced caregiver, you'll find the following information and tips will help you do the best job you can. The Alzheimer's Care Resource Center and the Lorraine and Jack N. Friedman Commission for Jewish Education have partnered together to bring you this introduction to Jewish custom and ritual as you care for Jewish clients and their families. Think of this guide as your rainy day kit for understanding some of the basics about the Jewish people, culture, and religion. When you care for a Jewish person, you will no doubt encounter Jewish holidays and observance, whether or not the person keeps a kosher home, and milestone events in the person's own life or life of his or her loved ones. We're going to talk about some of the Jewish holidays and customs, basics of keeping a kosher home, and Jewish life cycle milestones. The first thing to notice when you arrive to a Jewish home is the mezuzah on the doorframe. A mezuzah is a small box that is placed on the right doorpost of Jewish homes. Inside the box is a parchment scroll with verses from the biblical book of Deuteronomy. The concept of a mezuzah comes from the Bible where we read, quote, "And you shall inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates," end quote. In many Jewish families, it is customary to touch the mezuzah as you enter and exit the home and bring your fingers to your lips as if it has been kissed. Inside the home, there may be pictures, photos, objects, and even a Jewish calendar that all say, "This is a Jewish home." Some Jewish men wear a kippah or yarmulke, a small head covering out of respect for God. Often men will wear this head covering on special occasions or when performing a Jewish ritual such as lighting candles for the Sabbath, holidays, or memorials. The Jewish Sabbath, also called Shabbat or Shabbos, falls on Friday evening at sundown and lasts through Saturday sundown. In many Jewish homes, the woman has been the one to light 2 Sabbath candles just before sundown on Friday evenings. Along with lighting candles and saying a blessing for the lighting, wine is drunk as the Friday night blessing over wine, called the Kiddush, is recited, and challah, a braided loaf of bread, is broken and eaten while a blessing called the motzi is said. The lit candles must burn down until going out. The flames are not to be blown or snuffed out. These rituals happen before one eats the Shabbat dinner, often like a holiday meal. The lighting of the candles, the wine, the challah, all separate the mundane, ordinary week from the specialness and holiness of the Shabbat. Shabbat literally means to rest. By looking at a Jewish calendar, you can determine that the calendar is different than a regular calendar. In fact, it is based on the cycles of the moon. The Jewish months tell us when the Jewish holidays fall. The lighting of candles, blessings over wine, and challahs are performed for each holiday, just like Shabbat. Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, are very important holidays for most Jews and usually fall in September. Your client may have memories of observing these holy days. While Rosh Hashanah celebrates the birth of the world and mankind's role in caring for it, it is also a preparation for making atonement with our fellow man and with God on Yom Kippur. To be in a state of readiness to make atonement, most Jewish people fast from sundown the day before Yom Kippur until sundown of the day. Your client may not be able to fast due to health reasons, but may have some memories about fasting as a very important thing to do. Also, Yom Kippur is a special time to say the memorial prayer called Kaddish for loved ones who have died before us. Your client may have a spouse, parent, sibling, or child for whom they want to say Kaddish. The Kaddish is also said on the yahrzeit or anniversary of the death of loved ones, as well as on the last day of the holiday of Passover in the spring, Shavuot in the summer, and the 7th day of Sukkot in the fall. It's interesting to note that the Kaddish prayer is not about death, but about life. When we say Kaddish for a dead loved one, we are celebrating the person's life. The Kaddish is a prayer most Jews know by heart. There are special yahrzeit candles that can be found in the supermarket that are lit at home beginning the evening prior to the anniversary of a loved one's death. And like the Shabbat candles, the yahrzeit candle, once lit, may not be blown or snuffed out. If someone says they have to do yahrzeit or yizkor, they want to say Kaddish for a loved one. Sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas falls the holiday of Hanukkah. Many people think that Hanukkah is the Jewish Christmas, but Hanukkah is a minor festival in Judaism. Hanukkah lasts for 8 days and commemorates the victory of the Jews over the Seleucid Greeks in 167 before the Common Era and the rededication of the Temple in Jerusalem to Judaism. Jewish families light a special menorah, one branch for each of the 8 nights, and eat foods fried in oil, such as potato latkes and jelly donuts. Exchanging gifts was not a common practice for Hanukkah until the latter part of the 20th century in America. Passover falls in the spring and lasts for 8 days. Sometimes it falls the same time as Easter, since Jesus ate a Passover Seder meal the night before his crucifixion and resurrection. Even when other holidays are not observed in a Jewish family, it's still likely the family will have or attend a Passover Seder meal on the first night of Passover. Passover celebrates the Israelites' liberation from slavery in Egypt and the beginning of freedom as a people. As part of the observance of Passover, many Jews do not eat any bread or leavened products such as cookies, crackers, etc. during the 8 days of Passover. Also, Jews who do not normally keep a kosher home often will be kosher during Passover. And of course, Jews who keep a kosher home will still be kosher on Passover. If you are caring for a client whose home is kosher, there are some specific aspects about a kosher home you need to know. Most of us have heard the word, but few of us know what it means. Kosher literally means to be fit or proper. In practical terms, it means that food is sold, stored, and prepared according to the requirements of Jewish law. It also means that the appliances and utensils, dishware, and silverware that come into contact with kosher food must also be kosher and kept separate in their use between meat products and milk products. Products which are neither meat nor milk are called pareve or neutral and can stay pareve until they come into contact with meat or milk. Once in contact, the pareve becomes either meat or milk, respectively. The easiest way to help a client maintain his or her kosher home is to have someone who knows the Jewish laws about kashrut to make you a chart and some signs or labels that will help you keep the meat aspects of the kitchen from coming into contact with the milk aspects. Every family separates meat and milk a little differently depending upon the size and layout of their kitchen. And remember, some families only keep kosher during Passover. If your client keeps kosher, do not serve him or her any milk products less than 6 hours after eating meat, or any meat products less than 3 hours after eating dairy. In terms of the Jewish life cycle, when a baby is born, if the baby is a boy, there's going to be a bris. This means the baby will be circumcised at 8 days by a special Jewish surgeon called a moil. There is a celebration usually conducted by a rabbi that goes along with the circumcision, and the family and friends all celebrate together. If the baby is a girl, often there is a naming ceremony called a simchat bat, either at home or in the synagogue. Jewish boys and girls become bar and bat mitzvah respectively at the age of 13. The bar or bat mitzvah is a time when the boy or girl affirms his or her Jewish status in the community by reading a portion from the Torah, that's the first 5 books of the Bible, and take on the responsibility of participating in the Jewish community. It is not a coming-of-age ritual, as many people believe. Becoming bar or bat mitzvah literally means becoming old enough to know Jewish values and commandments and to be able to perform commandments and rituals and be counted in a group of 10, the required number of Jews to hold a prayer service as a community. At a Jewish wedding, the bride and groom are each walked down the aisle by the parents, and everyone stands under a canopy called a chuppah. The chuppah symbolizes being wrapped in a talit or prayer shawl and making the wedding vows in the presence of the witness of God. A wine glass is usually smashed by the groom under his feet at the conclusion of the ceremony, and everyone shouts, Mazel Tov! There are many reasons given for this, but a common reason is that the broken glass reminds the happy couple that life holds both joys and sorrows, and that they are reminded to remain committed to one another during happy and hard times. Your client may be able to remember their own bar bat mitzvah, wedding, child's birth, or those of their loved ones. Looking at family photos together will help you know what your client may remember and what you can have a conversation about. And knowing a little about Jewish culture and holidays can also help you as you care for your client. Being able to mention a holiday or custom in the right moment can be very comforting to your client. Congratulations! Now that you have this rainy day kit, you know about the Jewish Shabbat, You can refer to a Jewish holiday, custom, or milestone event by its name and with context. You also know a little bit about keeping a kosher home. All in all, you can be more confident when caring for a Jewish client.
Created using Powtoon.